Hello, this is Tula. Today is my 41st day of writing Copperplate, and I think it's a good time for another progress video. So I've got a few of the last 20 days to show you, some of my practice sheets, and I also have some points that I would like to talk about. And let's begin. Maybe before I show you, I should start with my points. Yeah, let's try that. So first of all, the grip, the hold, is no more an issue for me. First of all, I switched holder to one that I think what's comfortable for me about it is that it's very, very lightweight. It's almost weightless. It's just a piece of wood. It's beautiful. It's a Tachikawa. The model is T25. I have another one, this one, which is T36, and also by Tachikawa. And this one weighs a little more, and it's also, the perimeter is slightly wider than the small wooden one, which apparently makes a lot of difference for me. I know that some people need to feel some weight in their hand and maybe like wider grip. For me, I prefer my pen to be very lightweight. I also have this with fountain pens, and this one proved to be just very comfortable for me. And I find that the more I practice, I find sitting positions that are more comfortable for me, and certain nibs that I hold much more lightly, and the holder, of course. So the combination of everything just makes it easier to write. And I think, from my experience, I'm guessing that it's a matter of practice, that the more you train and you learn to get familiar with your materials, you find the methods and the tools that are most comfortable for you. And when you really want to try to make a certain shape, initially you put a lot of force, you hold it in a very controlled way, and so you place a lot of force, pressure, and then you get more pain. And as you train and your hand gets the motion, you automatically put less pressure on. So if you are starting out and you are worried about the pressure you use to hold the pen, and maybe aches that you get because of it, I would say don't worry, it will work itself out to some degree. Okay, another thing that happened to me is, as I got more comfortable, I started to add little decorations and playing around with the letters, and it's not really flourishes yet, but I think I'm getting there. Just in case you haven't noticed, this page has no slanting lines, no angle guide sheet. That's something that I just tried out today, and it works out, and I'm so pleased and so proud of myself. No slant lines, and I think my angle is pretty consistent here. I also noticed that as I go on, I'm deviating from the traditional formal Copperplate into something that is more my own, and That's great. It means I'm getting comfortable, I think. So holder, paper, nibs all play into this combination. I talked about the holder that I find comfortable. The paper, while I'm still practicing on plain printer paper, I ran out of my big package, and when I went to buy a new printer paper, I looked for paper that is more smooth. So first I had 80 grams, and now this is 100 grams, and it's a little, it looks the same, but maybe it's a different one. It should be more smooth, and I think I have a bit less feathering, but that's the only difference really. And the nibs, I find that some nibs I apply more pressure on, and others I glide more with. So, and also, as I said previously in other videos, I keep varying them, so every time I have another favorite or one that is more suitable to a certain paper I'm using. And I suggest, if you can get your hands on some holders and different nibs, maybe take them for a few days from a friend or somebody who has some, and test different ones to see what you feel comfortable with. My big favorite so far are the Zebra G-nib, and I also got a Leonardet Principle that I find very, very comfortable. I like it as well. So these are my two favorites at the moment. Experiment, that has to do with finding your own way and what's comfortable for you. For me, I'll get to that later, the no loops. Flourishes, I noticed as I was starting to create these shapes that it's less in a writing mode and more in a drawing mindset. So that makes my hand a little more loose. I try to make my lines more fluid and less controlled, like I need to when I'm writing the letters, and this does help me. And as always, go slow, focus, and practice as much as okay, go slow, focus, and practice as much as you can. This I wrote really quickly, and you can see, I'll show you some examples where you see the difference in the same day when I was rushing it and when I was being more focused, and the difference that made to their handwriting. I'll stop the video and start it again so it doesn't end up in 12 minutes. Bye. Okay, so we're going on. So this was day 21. I have nothing much to say. Oh yeah, it is the first day of the first practice sheet I wrote that day, and I consistently find that when I'm just starting, my hand is much more wobbly, my lines are shakier, and as I go on, it warms up and my lines are firmer and much more solid looking. Yeah, okay. So another, oh wait, this tells me what is in focus, so that I don't leave you out of focus. So we are on to day 22, and you can see that I'm starting to look for flowing lines. The easiest was to start with a with crossing the T's, because it's all there and you just need to play with that curving line, and some things work and some don't work as well, so it's just a matter of practicing. Day 23. I was watching either TV or YouTube documentaries and just writing words that were said on the program. It doesn't make any sense. I think I'm writing with the zebra G here because you can see how thin the lines are. I think I was in a very good zone here, and this is my 4th practice sheet. I'm very happy that I write the date and the number of the day. It's good for documenting the process, and also a lot of times I write that what nib I'm using, what ink I'm using, and afterwards I started adding the holder. This was probably with a speedball that I love. I think it's a wonderful holder. It's a little more heavy, much more heavy than this one, a little heavier than this one. I like the shape of it a lot, so it's very comfortable shape-wise. If it was lightweight, I would love it. So this is day 23. I think this came out very nice. Oh yeah, look, same day. This is my 4th practice sheet. And I was very prolific that day. This is number 13. So I was writing a whole lot, and I was looking at examples from George Bickham, and I saw variations that he made in his letters, so I was trying that. For example, the H. It's mostly when the letter is in the beginning of the line. So you could play with the M's or the H, and we will see more examples of that. I really enjoyed that, and I adopted this idea. This D doesn't work out for me yet, but I do try. And look at the nice entry into the P. This one came from above, and now I have trying getting the entry from the bottom. So you can play with the entry strokes. I think it's very nice, and I'm having more problems with the last letter of a line that I wanted to decorate as well. Day 25. So I'm playing more with the letter shapes. I was really trying to practice my T's and my F's. I didn't like the way this looks. I think it looks better when the right part of it is raised and the left part is lower, and my tendency is the other way around. And I also noticed that if I start, am I in the middle? If I start this line from the right side, I get a much nicer shape, but I don't get the heavy stroke here. So I want to try to get the shape I get when I go from right to left. Try to get it when I go from left to right. That's something I'm still practicing. I'm very unhappy with my N's and my V's, but they are getting better as time goes by. Okay. Same day, I went back to capital letters. I told you, I just said I wasn't very happy with my ends, so I was trying to get this shape. And here I also played with the angle of the nib. I noticed, I didn't say anything about it so far because I'm still not 100% sure about it, but as I make this line, if I angle the nib, I just twirl it in my hand, I can get a thinner line at the end of it. If it's interesting to you, then let me know. I will try to make a video about that and try it out and test it out more to make sure that I'm right about this feeling I have. So practice doesn't end. This is day 26. I was preparing the connecting letters videos, and I was preparing for the videos. I was trying out words and thinking what letters I should introduce together. This is day 28, so we jump, and I was trying the flourishes. You can see they're quite horrible still, but if I don't practice, I will not be able to get better. Still on day 28. Okay, this is my second practice sheet and this is the fifth. So I'm trying to play with letters. You can see a lot more interesting connections. Not all of them are very successful so far. And this is the exit decoration I was mentioning. I was noticing that to get a nice block of text, what Mr. Bickham does is he plays with the entry strokes. He adds decorations like this. So he wouldn't necessarily start the letter at the left margin. And also to create that nice feeling of a block of text, he has a lot of decorations at the end of the line, at the right margin, that form this uniform margin on the right side. Still have a lot to practice. We are on day 30. I'm trying out a different kind of W that he has, but I think it's not legible enough, so I haven't adopted it. I'm trying to hold the pen a little further up to see maybe I can get a nicer shape, but it didn't work. It wasn't comfortable. I didn't have enough control. Again on day 30 I'm trying flourishes, making a shorter text and decorating it to make a nice form. It's getting there. This was funny. This is again day 30. I noticed when I was making all these decorations that they make the words very fancy and elegant and very elaborate. So I was playing with writing austere and severe and nasty words. So I have severity and short-tempered, violence, filth, guerrilla warfare. This came out very nice. malfunction, austerity, just to humor myself. Guerrilla warfare, I think, came out very, very nice. Filthy swamp. Okay, now we are on to day 31, and I'm trying to write larger letters. And as you can see, it's very nice to see. This is the Leonard principal nib. This is the zebra G. So I know what nib gives me what sort of line. This is also day 31, trying text with larger letters. Okay, now I was feeling unwell for a few days, so we jumped from day 31 to day... Oh my god, when did the video stop? Did you see day 31? I hope so. Did you see the guerrilla warfare? I hope so. So, as I said, I was feeling ill for a few days and didn't write. So I jumped from day 31 to day 36. And I'm usually very hard on myself, and somehow with the calligraphy writing I find that I can be very forgiving and give myself good feedback, which is nice, and I'm very proud of my progress. And I'm also very forgiving to mistakes and imperfections. And you can see that I really adopted these long entries into letters. And I did notice that it's better to put them at the beginning and at the end, and not so much in the middle of the text, because then they can be confusing. I also still try to connect my words. I really like this look. I really enjoy it, even if it's in two motions and not just one. Sometimes it looks better with the two motions than the long one. This is again day 36. Look, this was my first practice, so my hand was still a little shakier, and this is the fourth one, and I'm trying out different holders here. Okay, on to day 36. This is a different ink. This is the Caime, and I keep playing with the letters. I see that I'm writing here that I have a video about this. You can look at it if you're left-handed, or if you're not comfortable, you should try this method that I use with a bit of an angle for writing, and for me that's very comfortable, so I really recommend trying it at least. And you can see the difference once one text is a little more elegant and flowing than the other. It's interesting. Oh, okay, so this is a very thin paper. It's called Tomo River. I was having very high hopes for this paper, and I actually do not like it at all. First of all, the ink takes very long to dry, especially my walnut ink, which is what made... I probably had two sheets. No, look, they were just one on top of the other, and the ink went through, and that's why it looks so ugly. But what I did want to show you, we are on day 39, 2 days ago, And what I wanted to show you here, that I was experimenting with writing without loops. So if usually my F would be with a loop, or my L, or the H, or the K, here I was trying to write text without Whiskey, shake it, mommy. You see the L's and the H? And that's also with descending letters. Look at the G. And this one. Do I have any more examples here? Another G. F. Y and G. So this is actually very nice, and it was a lot of fun to write. I think I will try this again. It just gives a different feel. I think it's a shame we cannot experience the whole text now because of all these markings that came through. I was making, this is from yesterday, day 40. I was writing my very favorite quote from Tolstoy, from Anna Karenina. I made a video about it that I'm editing now, and I will probably publish it today. And again, I'm not a fan of this paper yet. I can flip it so we can see. Not a big fan. It's hard to say why. It is smooth, but this is from yesterday and it still feels tacky. And because maybe I do put some pressure. Yeah, there is pressure on the paper. So you can see the paper buckles a little bit because of it. And this is from today, and this is my first attempt to write without the slant lines. So you can see my usual practice sheet has a lot of slant lines to keep my angle right, and I try just to have the same lines but without the slant to see if my muscle memory has changed and if I've already absorbed the angle in my muscle memory. And I think I have pretty much. I'm sure it's a little look at this memory, for example, it's not very consistent with the angle, but mostly I think it's alright. So this is a big accomplishment for me and I'm very pleased with it. So this is it, day 41, and we will probably have a similar video on day 60 or day 61. Okay, bye for now.